All right, guys, I think we are live. Let me turn on the streams and let me check really quick. Sorry, it's always weird right in the beginning, and the listeners might hear this one. It's weird right in the beginning when I'm trying to get it up and going, but...
No worries at all.
All right, we have a live feed. So for the viewer, I have Christina Nichols from Storm Poker Runs on tonight, and I'm actually really excited about this one because last year was my first year at Desert Storm, and then Dave told me that you'd kind of recently taken over and that you're doing it now, and I was so impressed by Desert Storm last year. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of have you on as a follow-up to Alexi the other night, and kind of talk about Desert Storm, kind of the schedule of events, kind of how it works, the classes and stuff like that, and just give you a chance to really promote it for those who might not know what it is, even though I'm sure this whole industry knows what it is. So
It's funny you say that. I appreciate you. Thank you for having us. And it's kind of funny because we come to Havasu and people are like, what event? What do you do? Like, we do the boat shows, we just pop in for dinner. We've come here on mini vacays and it's like, you're what? With what? And we're like, do you live here? So a lot of people actually don't know. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
It is. And it's funny to see like an event that really takes over a city, and then I think probably a lot of it's like snowbirds. Like snowbirds, like they're usually gone. They're like Desert Storm's getting warm. They're usually back home by then. So
yes,
they may not know that this huge event is going on right down the street from their house. So.
Well, and when the boat show used to be back-to-back weekends with Desert Storm, we would get snowbirds that are like, oh, we want to come. And they're like, well, we leave town on Wednesday. We're like, we start on Thursday. So over the years, more and more I've stuck around to see what it's about. And then some people have straight up told us, oh, I leave before you come to town. So that's okay, too. We understand, some people aren't down with the big rigs and everything we bring to town. So that's all right.
I love it. I love the festivities. One of the things like I said, I kind of brought up in the intro was I think some people are curious, how you got involved with it and what happened with events and doing Storm Poker Runs and stuff like that. So if we don't mind, let's start there.
Sure, absolutely. So Jimmy, of course, Nichols is Jim's son, and they started the poker run back in, 2007. It was originally Arizona Hot Boat Association, and they just kind of rallied up with some buddies and said, let's do this little poker run out on the water. And next thing you know, it turned into something bigger, bigger, and bigger. Jim Nichols, Jimmy's dad, ran it for the last 20 years. I mean, he was kind of the sole person. He obviously had partners and people come on and help him. And then he kind of got busy with his corporate job and decided that maybe he was kind of done with the poker run, looked at selling it to just anybody that was interested at that time. And Jimmy and I reached up and said, hey, why don't we buy it and we run it and see what we can do with it. So that's what happened last year. Well, let me go back a little bit. Monster Storm 2017 was our first poker run running it on our own, Jimmy and myself. And then last year was our first Desert Storm. So this will be our second under our wing. But prior to that, I was very involved in the event. A lot of people said, they would see me from anything doing registration to helping with safety boats. I was running all over the place. When I first started dating Jimmy in 2007, it was funny. He's like, do you want to go to this lake thing with me? And I was like, sure, why not? Came out, I was like, your family does all this? Holy crap. And then, I just dove in head first and helped where I could and did what I could. And I loved all the people and what we did and what happened in a week. It was just amazing to me how, like you said, you kind of take over the town and transform it. So, I'm very excited to be a part of it now. It's neat to kind of have a little bit more say in the organizing of things. And Jimmy and I collaborate a lot with our team to, come up with some new ideas, keep it fresh. And that's it.
So last year being your first event, how did last year go?
I would say all in all, really well. We had a little bit of, hiccups because it was our first time doing it. on our own, obviously. So there was some learning hurdles, but overall we did a lot of changes because we figured when we took it over, it would be good to hit everybody with the changes now and get it over with instead of, freaking them out every year that we were changing stuff. So that's when we moved to the London Bridge Resort, which was absolutely a brilliant idea. Do we miss the beach? Do we miss the nautical? Yes, there's lots of features they have, but moving it was awesome. The street party went off without a hitch. That was a big learning curve for us, and it was highly successful and had lots of attendance. So we're just really looking forward to this year. We try to keep it exciting, keep it fresh, but not change it too much because people are used to that repetition and what they already know from years past.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little about the schedule of Desert Storm. For someone that may or may not have come, like what can they expect? When are good times to be on the water, stuff like that. What's there to see? So
overall, my honest go-to answer always is there's a lot packed into a very short amount of time. So I always tell people, go to our website, stormpokerruns.com, and about halfway down there's a little calendar. Click it, and you'll get our full event schedule. It looks kind of like this if you can see it on our website. But it literally breaks down every day, location, time. It's really neat to kind of see it broken down that way so you know exactly when and where to be. We also have a spectator tab that is geared just to people that are not participating in the poker run. So they know if they should watch from land, water, maybe they don't have a boat, so they can't go on water. So we put up maps so that they're able to see exactly where to go, what to do. But yeah, everything's there. So we do a lot of posting on our social media as well, so people can keep an eye on that and see, what's happening, if anything's moved or changed. So yeah, that's kind of the update for that.
So they can go on the website, they can go on Storm Poker Runs, and they can find that. It's kind of the breakdown. I looked at it a few weeks ago, actually, when me and you first connected, and that'll kind of give them, hey, if I don't have a boat and I want to watch the poker run or the shootout, I can go to this spot or that spot, or, where can I see the parade, stuff like that.
Correct. So the schedule online is kind of our overall event schedule, but I would say that's more geared to the participant. If they are a spectator, definitely click the spectator tab because we have some information that if you are boating, kind of some safety stuff to keep in mind, bear in mind as we're, going down the lake and whatnot. But also it tells you the best prime locations that we feel to watch it from land, from water. That way you get the best viewpoint because at the end of the day, we're a poker run that you have to, participate in, but we have a huge, huge spectator crowd. So we want to make sure that they feel welcomed and they know where to watch.
The other thing that I kind of realized too is like, it's definitely, you bring the whole street party in and you gain a lot of spectators that way. But really like the poker run and the shootout, like a lot of times you have the same people watching both, but there's also different crowds for each of those events.
Correct. Yes. There's some people, it's funny, that tell me they don't even go on the water the day of the poker run, that it's too busy, too congested. They'll watch it from just the channel, because they like to watch the Parade of Power, which is totally fine. And then the shootout, a lot of people go out because they can anchor, have fun on the sidelines as if you were at a football game and watch it from afar, but still be very involved. So with the poker run, it's kind of all over the lake. It's hard to keep track. You kind of have to pick a location and poker down. But, with the shootout, you get to kind of sit there all day and float and watch for quite a while. So that's why I think the different crowds.
What would you say the response is on both? Do you get more people that watch the poker run, or like more good response on the poker run, or more for the shootout, or and then the street party obviously is the big party, the big event?
Yes. So the street party is by far the biggest, most popular for really everybody. It's hard to get our participants to do that because a lot of them are coming into town. So they always come in early to display their boats. Sponsors love that because obviously they're right up front and center with all of the fans and spectators to meet and greet. And then our vendors, of course, love it. The spectators love it because it's everything right there, one-stop kind of shop, if you will. And they get up close and personal with a lot of the rigs that, if it's sitting on the dock, you're not going to be able to touch it, look close, take pictures. I mean, you could, but that'd be kind of weird. So, with the street party, they get a very up close and intimate. And a lot of times the boat owner's right there. So they get to talk to them, ask them questions, which is cool. But as far as like spectators go for the poker run versus the shootout, I will say that the shootout is slowly growing. If you look back to when the street party started, I want to say last year was the 20th year of the street party. If you look back, it's it's evolved over time. You know, in the first year, it wasn't that big. There wasn't that many people that came out to watch it. So it slowly got momentum, and now it's huge. I look at the shootout similar. The shootout hasn't been around for that many years. We've had to cancel for weather, different things. So we're still building that momentum to get people to know what it is and come out. We're getting more and more participants. So our end goal is to make it more like Lotto, where there's thousands of people watching, and we can spread it over 2 or 3 days. You know, right now that's not realistic, but that would be really cool to do. So end goal kind of, I guess, is where that heads.
Yeah, and I think definitely in the age of social media and the age of, you know, you can get mass marketing out there. I think, you know, you've done or over the last couple of years, you know, Desert Storm's really been put on the map. And though obviously last year, thanks to you, it was put on the map a lot more. And I think you'll start seeing, you know, maybe even more East Coast boats coming out and participating in it, or, you know, more. It's going to give it more credibility. And especially with the, you know, one thing I've noticed over the last year is, you know, going to Desert Storm my first time last year, but I've really noticed the big name sponsors that you and your team have involved this year and that have gotten behind the event.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's interesting because, you know, to put on this event, so many people, you know, look at it in different aspects, but it takes so much money and so much effort to put it on. So really, we were in need of corporate level sponsors that could put down a little bit more money. You know, it's a lot easier to get one larger sponsor than it is to get 40 small sponsors. So we really just kind of focused on where could we get a corporate niche, and Kicker really fell into that hole. Luckily, they were really trying to get bigger in the marine market. We needed that corporate backing, and it was a win-win for both of us. Last year was their first year partnering with us, and you know, I'm so grateful that they're back on this year, and we had great conversation on what we both expected and wanted out of it. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think we have a really good, solid long-term goal for the both of us that I just see growing over the years. But yeah, social media has done amazing for us, and I give 110% credit of that to Rob. He's posting for us all day, every day. You know, even if it's just a simple picture of somebody's boat, that gets people excited. You know, if it's shootout, whatever it may be, it just gets people really excited. And it doesn't matter if they're local. Like you said, it doesn't matter if they're East Coast. We had a lot of people from Kansas and Texas reaching out about the event because they saw a social media post. So yeah, there's neat things happening. And I think, again, like you said, it just goes with the day and age. You know, people are very social media savvy and want to be involved, and it's instantaneous, which, you know, can be good and bad because it can hurt you real quick too, but you can spread some news really fast. So we've taken advantage of that for sure.
So if someone's not coming to the event this year, what can they expect, like, on social media during the event? You know, what is Rob going to be doing during the event? Obviously, you guys are all running around like chickens with your head cut off, but what can they expect to see, like, from the event on social media?
So it's funny you say that because we've been teasing Rob a lot lately. His wife is in charge of our volunteers, Ashley. And so she told him, you're not getting off the hook doing work because you're going to go take photos and interview people. And he's like, I need to do social media. And she's like, you will be by my side. You're not just going to sneak off. But he has plans to do some live Facebooks with, you know, some of our sponsors on the street party. He did a couple last year, just getting our feet wet to see how it went. Johnny Veraclune, he did his MTI, the green Lamborghini, the Super Veloce. So, you know, there's little things like that excite people. So he's going to try to do that this year. We've got just neat, exciting stuff happening. He is working on finalizing our app in the Android and Apple store. So that way, for people that aren't here or can't attend, can still be a part of the event in that aspect. We're going to be posting stuff every day to that as well. So if you can't physically be with us, you can still be with us from afar. So that's kind of our plan for that.
And I really like that idea because as much as I love social media and as much as it's, you know, connecting you and me right now, it's nice that people can go to a single place and not have to feed through all the other crap, but they can find what they want to find on, like, an app specific to your company and your event.
Yes. And the beauty of that too is we were really trying to figure out, you know, that's a costly expense. So we were trying to figure out, how could we make it affordable? Do we give it away for free? What do we do? But we want to get so much information out there, and it wasn't realistic to send people to our website all day during the event. Yeah. You know, it's really simple to push feeds on an app, to be able to download that map instantaneously. We have a feature where we're going to be able to publish the shootout scores right as they're happening, so people will know exactly what's going on, like you said, instantaneously. So, it's exciting. We can't wait. We're keeping our fingers crossed that we get approved here pretty quick. We've been in the process for a little while now, but it's ready to go live. So we will definitely announce it as soon as, you guys can get into your app stores and get it. So we're happy about that.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to get into, and this was actually a question that Alexi brought up to me the other night after you and Alexi sat down and did a live show. But this was a question that Evan Hobgood, who Evan runs V-Hole's Powerboat Club, he also asked. And his question is, what are the different categories in the shootout? And I think Alexi kind of had, he wanted to talk about classes and categories and where each boat fit into those. So I think it'd be cool to talk about that.
Sure. So we, again, I hate to refer people to this all the time, but definitely go to our website because there's a 2-page PDF on there. It pretty much looks like this on one side, and it's just our operations plan. And then if you flip it over, there's all of our classifications and a sample of our tech inspection. So it's right here for people to be able to see exactly. So there's no secrets or surprises. Because we want you to come feeling confident and prepared. Those last minute, oh, you need a helmet or oh, you need a VHF radio will kind of freak people out. So that's primarily why we do it, but also so that they can know what kind of classification they're going in. When Jimmy and I took the event over, we decided to kind of update this and refresh it a little bit. So I actually reached out to Ron Dugan at Lake of the Ozarks and asked him, do you mind sharing yours with me? Because we did change our, shootout course to be more in line with him with the 3/4 mile. And we wanted our classifications to be similar too. That way, if people go out to the Ozarks and run the shootout, they can easily compare their speeds to ours. Yes, sea level, elevation, all these other factors change, but that way it's a comparable playing field. So basically there's 4 categories. There's division, hull type, length, and engine class. And it's really self-explanatory. So you just check whatever you are in each category. You cannot be more than one. And then that's how we classify you. If you're the only boat in that classification, then there you go. If there's, 3 or 4, then obviously you get some competition. But at the end of the day, it's really just about safety, having fun, putting on a good show for people. We obviously crown king and queen of the desert, the fastest male and female. But do you want me to specifically talk about the classes, or is that just kind of, you wanted a nutshell version?
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit more in depth.
Okay. So as far as division goes, it basically breaks down to professional, non-professional, manufacturer, and then we have personal watercraft in there. We have not had a personal watercraft sign up as of yet, but it's on there. So that's category number 1 of division. Hull type then goes from V-hull, V-hull with outboards, catamaran tunnel hull with outboard, pontoon, deck boat, factory boat, hydroplane, and center console. From there, it goes to length. So it's basically 22 feet to 43 and over. I had somebody call me the other day saying, hey, I have a 19-foot boat. I'm interested in doing the shootout. And I said, you absolutely can. We're happy to throw in that category for you. It's just not a very popular category for that 22 and under. So we don't have it on there. But if we have somebody that, registers and wants to come out, we'll absolutely create a category. The beauty of our shootout is we're regulated in the fashion that, the Coast Guard monitors what we do, BLM, the sheriffs. We have to go through all those municipalities, but nobody tells us we can't have a certain, class or length. So we can easily change this up and add something in to accommodate, what somebody's looking for if they wanted something different. And then from there, it goes to engine class. So we have stock modified, custom modified without power. And then we have power added features, blowers, turbos, all of that, turbine, and diesel. So you should be able to easily check one of each category. Again, if for some reason you can't, you're one of those kind of oddballs, give us a call and we'll either create a category or we'll figure out where you best fit.
So Alexi had a question. He said, what determines a stock engine because he has a 1750 factory engine?
Alexi would do this to me because I told him the other day, Alexi, I don't know enough about the motors. I don't do the tech. I just know what I typed on my sheet. And he was like, Christina, you're killing me. So he's putting me on the spot. Jimmy went outside to answer a work call. So I cannot answer that, Alexi.
I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to. I think he's just yanking your legs. So
he's pulling my chain because I told him, I was like, don't ask me any engine questions. I don't know that stuff. Too funny. Thanks, Alexi. I owe you.
I'm going to go back to, this was another question from a listener. It says, when will you guys determine the dates for next year? This is the guy who says he tries to do Stagecoach one year, Desert Storm the other, which is like, it's really hard with dates this time of the year because everyone's trying to get events in before it gets hot. So.
And it's funny too, because, it's not as simple as just picking a date on the calendar. We really try to juggle lots of things. This year, Easter is the weekend right before our event, which most people are like, Easter doesn't matter. You wouldn't believe if I planned this event on Easter weekend, how many people would not come. We have that same problem with Halloween and Monster Storm. If I plan it too close to Halloween, people just simply don't come. I thought I was going to be really cool and just tell you the dates, but I think I left that paper at home. I didn't bring it with me. Yeah, unfortunately, this is just a 2019 calendar in my book. We do have the dates already chosen for Desert Storm 2020, Desert Storm 2021, and Desert Storm 2022. So what I will do actually is, this question's come up quite a bit just recently, I think, because people are realizing they can't come and they're trying to plan for next year. So before Desert Storm hits, I will put those dates all on our website so that way people have access to them, because we want you to plan, and we obviously want more the merrier to attend and be able to support us. So I'll get those up on our website here pretty quick, but they are chosen and locked in, and we're booked at the London Bridge. So that's good news.
There you go. And so, for the viewer that asked the question, you can plan years ahead. And this is something last year when I went to Desert Storm, I said, okay, I'm going to get this boat podcast rolling. Desert Storm's like, I got to be there next year. And so we've had it on the calendar for a year.
Yeah.
And I told my wife, don't plan anything this week. And she's like, that's 9 months out. We have 4 kids. Like, how are we going to plan that? I'm like, don't plan anything that weekend.
Don't plan it. Well, it's funny you say that, because we joked, Alexi and I, the other night, people drop off because their niece is getting married or their daughter, and, people are having babies, and then they circle back around, and that's just kind of life in itself. And we get it. People want to go to Stagecoach. Totally understand. It's funny. We like to think that we have different people that attend both, but it's really popular. I have people really pissed at me that it happens to be the same weekend as the Laughlin motorcycle run, but unfortunately it's hard to get dates sometimes. So we do the best we can, try to accommodate. And unfortunately some years it just falls in unfortunate places, but I will get the dates posted here real soon so everybody can see them.
Cool. All right. So we're not going to jump that far ahead to next year, but let's talk about, is there anything new, any new announcements that you can kind of break the ice with people and talk about for this year's event, or any new vendors you're excited to come? I know you can't single anyone out, but
I know. I always feel bad because even just with Alexi the other night, somebody texted me and they're like, you didn't mention me. And I was like, sorry. Like with 45 sponsors, it's hard. And I hate naming names because I don't want to leave anybody out, because every single one is vitally important. And same with vendors. There's a lot of really cool vendors that we have, and I never want anybody to feel like they're singled out or not included. Some of the new sponsors we have this year, we have Gator Wraps, Lakeside Marine and Motorsports from Georgia. We have Bradley Chevrolet from here in town in Havasu. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody just off the top of my head even. Sandcraft Motorsports. They've been a vendor in years past. They stepped up to be a sponsor this year. So we've got a lot of new people stepping up. I think they see the value in the advertising, and then, they get to still participate in the poker run and the shootout and all of that stuff. So you get a lot of bang for your buck to be a sponsor. And we try to take care of you and put out a lot of marketing stuff. As far as vendors go, I feel so terrible because I'm getting calls every day. Am I on the wait list? Have I moved up on the wait list? Where am I? We just conveniently sold out of our street party so fast this year. And it's not a matter of not wanting people in. It's a matter of I don't have space to put anybody. We go all the way from Macoma, all the way down to Riviera. And we have 3 side streets and the entire eye of the storm. So we are literally wall to wall in that, street space. But as far as anything exciting, the app we're super excited about, because that's just going to get people access quick to our overall event. We've teamed up with Best Damn Radio 95.7, and they're part of iHeartRadio, so people will be able to listen from afar on that as well, which is so exciting. So I'll get that information up on our website as well. Other than that, the Eye of the Storm this year, we are plugging that like crazy. We are so excited about it because We've made it a big open air atmosphere. It used to be closed off in the past, and it was for registration and participants and sponsors only. Last year was the first year we opened it up, and we put vendors in there and boats for people to come in and see. That's where registration was, apparel. This year it's very similar. We've just opened it more. And then having said that, there's not stuff in the middle to get jumbled. We also have 3 bands that will be playing throughout that day to kind of pump up the crowd. We have a beer garden in there, and then Copper Still Distillery from here in Havasu is coming out also. They're super excited to share some of their whiskey and vodka. So I think that's nice and enticing for people to come in, but it's open to the public. It's free to the public. The entire street party, for that matter, is free to the public, open from 1 to 9. And we just say, come out and check it out and enjoy it. But other than that, nothing too crazy or big this year. We wanted to, we threw a lot of changes at everybody last year. So we just wanted to kind of keep it lighthearted and see if we could grow it a little bit more and keep it where it is for now.
I have to mention, I'm really excited to see John and Sandcraft, that they're out there. I saw them there last year and I was like, oh, it's cool to have, like a side-by-side off-road company participate in an event this year. So I'm really excited to see them out there and to be a sponsor. I think you said a sponsor, right?
Yes, they are.
So they're really getting involved in a lot of stuff, and it's cool to see them out there. I also know that I have 2 friends that are joining this year as vendors, and Wolf Water Sports of Havasu and Naughty Shine, who is going to be in River Dave's booth.
Correct.
So it's cool we'll actually be at Wolf Water Sports next year to talk about his new Havasu location. It's cool to see, a lot of different people that I just know about that are getting involved. So
yes, absolutely. And it's funny because, we've had people that couldn't come for commitments or things as well. I mean, Alexi, for example, couldn't make it last year to the street party and was so bummed, but now he's back again, the same as he always was, So we see that kind of transition, and people, I've heard them ask Jim before, and now they're asking myself, are you worried because these people aren't coming this year? Or, they told me they couldn't make it, and now all of a sudden they can. And so there's a lot of transition, if you will, but we have a lot of steady too. T Custom Marine has been right outside the eye of the storm since the day the street party started. So there's a lot of traditional places. RDP, I'm pretty sure he's had his same street since 2010, 2011 maybe. So there's some longevity with where people have been. They like their spot. People know that's where they can find them. So that's neat too. We like that return. It's awesome.
Definitely. It's definitely cool to see, the returning people. Obviously, I'll have a little more involvement there, being there with River Dave this year. So it's kind of cool to see the returning people, but also, I'm excited to see the changes and how you guys have worked it to accommodate even more people, how you've opened up the eye of the storm. Because, that was a huge hit for me last year. Thursday night, we went over and we hung out in the grass field, the eye of the storm, and hung out and drank beer. So that was like a huge draw to me, is like, this is a cool open air atmosphere. It's beautiful. We can all hang out, ton of people around. So
yeah, well, I appreciate it, because we were super worried because, it is closed. So people look at it as, I even said, it's like a cage, everybody's kind of locked in this area. Unfortunately, we have to do that in order to serve alcohol. So it's like, do we want to leave it open and not fence it, and that way people just free flow and know? Or do we want to take the risk of having to advertise it and pump it up a little bit to be able to provide alcohol? And we wanted to take that risk because it's nice to have a drink in your hand and be able to talk to your friends and look at boats and buy apparel. And so we try to pick a little bit of every kind of category to be in the eye with us. Kicker and Gator Wraps are the 2 major sponsors in there. Gary Smith's brand new Predator 3 and Vern Gilbert's Predator 1 will both be in there. So, we're really trying to have exciting stuff that people would want to see, and something that will keep them for a while too. We don't want them to just have a beer and ditch out. We want them to hang out in there, socialize, see if you're not a participant, what are we doing in there? What is this goodie bag people are getting? What are they screaming about over there that they're so excited about? And it's just the little things of seeing people you haven't seen in a year, or, that swag and all the cool things that our sponsors put into our swag bags is exciting too. So we want it to be very open and friendly for people to be able to feel like they can be involved, even if they don't want to pay to participate, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Another thing too that I didn't mention, I know I mentioned it in Alexi's thing, but e-ticket is doing a really cool thing down on Riviera in McCulloch. I give major props to Brad Stewart. He reached out to me and said, Christina, I really want to be involved in the street party, but I'm tired of being at the bottom. He goes, I want to be more in the middle. And I said, Yeah, you and 220 other people. It's very hard because the middle is prime real estate and everybody wants it. And we try to kind of, first come, first serve. And obviously our big sponsors are in there. But, again, we don't want people to be left out. But if you happen to miss the deadline or you're not quick enough, you do feel like you're shafted and you're at the end of the street. So he was really cool. He said, I decided that you're not really going to be able to change that. So I'm going to change it. And I was like, okay, what are you going to do? He says, I'm throwing a party at the end of the street. And I was like, what do you mean? He says, I want to have a full-on party at the end of the street. So we're basically creating a mini Eye of the Storm down at Riviera and McCulloch, and he's going to have some awesome boats in there. He is having, I don't know if it's a DJ or a band, but music. We got a liquor license for him, so he's going to have alcohol down there, food. He's going to have official Desert Storm apparel down there too. So just another cool place for people to hang out, congregate, and socialize and enjoy the street party. So we're very, very excited that he, recognized a problem and instead of just complaining about it, stepped up and found what we think is going to be an amazing solution.
That'd be really cool too, because, like I said, everyone towards the end of the night kind of congregated towards the Eye of the Storm. So, it'd be cool to kind of carry the party on, because that's really what the street party is. It's a party. So
yes.
So all right. Well, I don't know if you have anything else that you want to share with the viewers. I think we're kind of getting towards the end of this thing. Was there anything I forgot?
I don't think so. I think the biggest thing is just keep watching our social media because we update on there like crazy. I know I keep saying that, but it's our easy instant access to all of the viewers, spectators, sponsors. It's a quick way to say, hey, this is what's happening. So if something changes in the event or something exciting is going on, that's how you're going to hear about it first. So if you don't already follow us or like us, do that. And then as soon as we get the app officialized and approval from the app stores, we'll launch that and tell everybody about it. The only other cool thing for us right now, right here, is we're at the boat show this weekend in spot 300 here in Havasu. And anybody that's registered the entire time until Saturday morning when we get to the boat show, we're going to do a live Facebook feed and pull one winner to get their entire entry free. It doesn't matter if you've registered 20 people, if you've bought 12 poker hands, well, you can't buy 12, I take that back, 10 poker hands, whatever your package is, we're going to give it to one lucky winner for free.
Very cool, very cool. So definitely tune in. You said Saturday morning at the Havasu Boat Show, you guys are going to do a live feed?
Yep, we are, yeah.
So that's another great thing I want to talk about, that is that Lake Havasu Boat Show is going on this weekend. So it's kind of a good place to obviously go visit with Christina and Storm Poker Runs, but also, get out there. I don't feel like that's quite the kickoff to summer. I feel like Desert Storm is the kickoff to summer.
Well, thanks.
But get out there this weekend in Havasu if you're interested in that. So
definitely come say hi. We'd love to see all of our supporters, and thanks for having us on, Jake. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll do it again. So
yes. Thank you.
All right.